I mean, Zach, I'm sure you could even speak to this on a deeper level, but when you're running ads, you're testing things, you're figuring out the audiences. When you're running somebody's ads, especially for the first time, and if they don't have audiences built, I'm sure it's a freaking hot mess to try to like dial that in and figure out how to actually find their people. And I mean, I would love for you to just share, like, throughout the process of a launch, what is the percentage of ads that end up getting turned off because they don't convert as high as the other ones?
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. So like we work with, like, what a lot of people don't see behind the scenes is that we have somebody on our team whose job every morning it is to go in and turn off ads.
Yep.
Like that's their job, is to go in and turn off ads that aren't performing. And it happens every day. And what I like, I love what Tiffany's saying. And somebody always, I don't know who it was, but somebody said to me, like, it's simple, not easy. Like it's very
Yes.
simple. Like
Yes.
it doesn't have to be like 10,000 experiments the first time, because I love that concept. The first time I heard it, it's like, oh my gosh, 10,000, like that means I have to do like 10,000 webinars. Well, no, it doesn't. Set up the webinar landing page. When it doesn't work, set up a new landing page. When slide number 46 loses them, change it to something else. Like it's simple, small tweaks that people don't think about. It's like when I started, like I charge way more now than I did a year ago when I started my agency. And I had people in my life who were like, oh my gosh, charge more. Right? Because I came from a world of experience, not because like, I don't really subscribe to the whole, like, be premium on day one. That's a whole nother thing. But like, I came from a place of like, I had this experience, but I priced low because I was in a new marketplace. And I was like, I'm trying something new. And so once we got like 4 clients at that price, we increased our price, which was like the hardest thing to do, because I was like, well, what if no one pays? Well, what if I just shot myself in the foot? Well, what if I have one client paying more than another client? Or what if 2 clients talk? Or what if someone this? And what if that? And all of these things. But the reality was this really hard task was saying to the next sales call, that'll be X amount of dollars. You ready to do this? And like that is a simple act, but it's not easy. And it's like these experiments are just a culmination of simple. Do you know how simple it is in Facebook ads world to go copy, new audience, $10? It literally takes like this. Maybe this will diminish some of my value and as it comes out. It's like, this is literally a 30-second process for us when we're working with someone who's optimized. Like we're not in there spending 40 hours inside someone's ad account. We've got it down to a system and a process where we spend an hour setting up audiences, an hour setting up ads, and we move on. Because it is simple. It is so stinking simple. But what is hard, and I've worked with people like this who are like, well, I don't like that we're doing $40 a day because I would rather be spending 20. And I'm like, well, we're in a testing phase, so we need to spend more today, right? Or people who are like, well, you're doing too much testing. And like, these are real things that I hear. You're doing too much testing. That's why it's not working. Or you're spending too much money to figure it out. And I've worked with the spectrum. And that's why, like, when I did my little intro, I'm like, I work with people who are at 5 figures with a proven offer that want to scale. Because I've worked with, and this is bad, but I've worked with budding entrepreneurs. And every once in a while we make an exception because you can see the diamond in the rough. But I've worked with people who don't have a proven offer. And they're like, well, why did I spend $10 a lead? And I'm like, well, if your webinar was converting, like I work with people now who would kill for a $10.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, you get so wrapped up early on being like, well, what about this? And what about that? Because you're so busy being caught up in the hard, not the simple, that you just flip the script on yourself and you're like, this is too hard, or this is not what I want, or I don't want to spend my money. Like, moving away from like even the ads conversation. Like what a lot of people don't know is that the first online course I bought was $500 when I had $2,000 to my name in savings, and I was in school and I was working a part-time job. And I went back to that same program owner, somebody very well known in the space, and was like, can I actually upgrade to the VIP and spend $1,000? And that program went on to make me 10K because I just kept going. And it's like, so many people are like, well, I don't want to spend $500 on ads. And like, I'm a huge proponent of like, dude, keep your day job. I had a day job for like the first, what would have been 3 years of business. If you like, Heart, Soul, and Hustle took off in 6 months after 3 months of actively trying to build a business in multiple niches. I've sold digital products in the vegan food space, in the live streaming space, in the Facebook ad space, in the launching space. Now I do services. And it's like, just keep taking one step forward. You don't have to do the right thing every time. And like, who knows, maybe switching to an agency was the wrong move, but I'm absolutely not looking back. And you guys were in the mastermind that we're in together where I was like, I'm an agency now. And that was just a decision one day. Like it wasn't like my agency grew overnight. One day I came to the mastermind. I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this. I'm not happy with this. I want to do this now. And like that declaration was so hard, but simple, because all I had to do was be like, I don't do that anymore. But do you know how hard it was to go to my website and turn off a working evergreen funnel? Do you know how hard it was to tell everybody I don't sell this course anymore? Do you know how hard it was to go to my students and be like, in 6 months, this will no longer be an active platform? That was hard, but it's simple. It was not hard to write the Facebook post. It was not hard to make the declaration. It was simple. So I don't know, maybe that helps.
That is so, I mean, that was, you guys are just blowing my minds right now. I'm like, this is everything they need to hear right now.
Yeah.
Seriously, because I mean, even this past weekend, so many conversations, like the women who are part of my community who have had like the most success are the ones who came to that crossroad where they had poured time and energy into something that wasn't working because they weren't 100% aligned with it. And like 4 of them, they did like a hard left, a pivot, and it was simple. And they were the people who didn't allow the hard mental stories of like, what will people think? Is this practical? Is someone going to think I'm a flake? Does my husband think that, you know, is he going to make a comment that I'm trying something new and I've spent the last 6 months being like, no, this is it. This is the thing. And then going and changing it, or the family, the conversations, all of that. So I think that's so powerful what you shared. And I think it is really important for newer entrepreneurs or even seasoned entrepreneurs to hear conversations like this. When I came into the mastermind and met you guys and started connecting with you on a much deeper level, and we were having these conversations in that room, it was a huge weight off of my shoulders to go, oh, we all have the same problems. Money, success, your follower number, it doesn't really change that much. Like the way that we problem solve is really the thing to figure out. And it really comes down to being able to be in control of your mindset and not freak out and not get in your own way when things feel challenging, when we have to grow and we have to up level.
Like we all fail. And I think the difference between people who have a little bit more experience is that we fail more often, but we recover faster.
Yeah.
We come up with a different way. And the more I observe like my friends that are doing like that started with me at the same time, and they're doing like triple the numbers that I am, I was like, they're just failing more. They're taking on more risk. And one of the biggest risks that you take on, that's also the most, I just had this conversation with James, like literally last week. I was holding on to like my pride of being the most profitable person in the mastermind, having 90% profitability. And he's like, let me ask you something. Do you want to be 90% profitable on $1 million business, or do you want to be 20% profitable on a $15 million business? And I was like, oh, I'm not great with numbers. I'm pretty sure I want the, like I'm looking at the wrong things and the wrong numbers. And he's like, because you're doing you're still doing too much yourself. I mean, like ads and stuff, we outsource a lot, but James has like a 7-figure mastermind, and the people in there, they have like employees that are full-time. And most of us still work with contractors, and we've got people that are like part-time, and we've got, which I like because I've worked behind the scenes with so many businesses and so many brands before. It was a slow transition for me. Just like Zach said, it took him about 3 years. It took me 3 years. And I still am not 100% digital. That is such a very few people are, I don't know anyone who, by the way, if you guys think most people who are successful in the online space is 100% digital, it's not true. They're doing affiliate marketing is a huge chunk of their income.
They're just talking about that.
Oh yeah. It's not just one thing. Yeah. You're going to make yourself a crazy person if you just have one thing. Definitely have one focus. I see some people that have too many ideas and too many courses, and none of them get off the starting block. But a lot of people are making money doing a lot of other things, not just their digital courses. It's an addition to, it might be the primary thing. It's not even my primary thing. Hasn't been ever. It's affiliate marketing is the biggest thing that I do. like the percentages are always different who I affiliate with. It's not just software programs and digital courses, but like physical products. I still do that. And, you know, there's so many different ways. And I never want to actually have everything in one bucket, because what happens if you get sick and you can't deliver your product, or, you know, like I love affiliate marketing. It's to me, that's like one of the easiest ways to grow your business, but it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't just like, you need an audience. And what I see people do, I don't know how you're going to have a digital business of any kind, or one-on-one or group or small group coaching or retreats or any of the things, if you're not spending a significant amount of your time figuring out, strategizing how you're going to make social media work for you when, you know, like right now, Instagram's going through a really ugly phase and it's changing. And everyone's saying, oh, jump ship, go to LinkedIn or
Go to TikTok.
Go to TikTok. And I was like, really, Gary Vee, TikTok? I know, I'm like having this conversation with myself. Or like everyone on LinkedIn is getting mega views on their live videos and they're awful. And I was like, oh, I need to go save those people. But LinkedIn's not my crowd.
Yeah.
It's just not. It could be, but you know, like I have to consider those things just because it's a trend. Do you jump in first? Some people do. But I don't even know where I was going with that, but mashed potato brain.
Hashtag launch brain.
Oh, it was like 3 years in. I transitioned from offline to online. I did this whole Facebook Live about it. Like I actually showed my timeline of what I did all throughout the last, you know, I started as a blogger 7 years ago as a hobby blogger, never made a penny. And then people hear like, oh, you've sold $2.5 million in sales on your blog. Well, yeah, the first 2 years was just trying to figure out how you even set up a blog. And I migrated them 4 times from blogs that I didn't even own. It was like on eBlogger or blogger.com, like all the big, you know, blogger sites that you don't even own it. I didn't have a self-hosted website until just like 5 years ago. Like that's crazy. And then I didn't even monetize it until probably 4.5 years ago. So it's everything takes time, everything. And then once you do it, I'm definitely the definition of an accidental entrepreneur in so many ways. Like I wasn't one of those people that like drew a line in the sand and said, I'm quitting everything that I'm doing now and I'm going all in on this. I think there are people who are very brave and do that and believe in what they do. I didn't do that. I was like, I'm going to test and I'm still going to pay the bills. I have mortgages to pay for. I've got like bills to pay. And so I still there was that transition that was hard where I'm working a lot of hours because I'm working really long days on set. Production days are 12 to 15 hours. And then I'm trying to like figure out my online business, which honestly, when you look back, doesn't take that much time. It really, really doesn't. The time that you put into like thinking about it and contemplating, and like overthinking and then planning. I mean, like I'm a planner, but some of us get so stuck in over planning because it's just an excuse for fear disguised as perfectionism that's keeping us. But when we actually do it, it doesn't take that much time. What's that Parkinson's law? Like whatever time you allocate to get something to finish is the time you're going to do it. So whether you do it in 2 hours or 20 hours, you're going to do it in the time that you give yourself to do it. And so most of the things that we do, we're allocating time to waste, overthink, contemplate, allow the fear to build up versus just going out there and doing it. Like
I feel personally attacked by that comment.
Why? You? What?
No, it's like just even with this last launch, you know, we guys, don't ever do this, by the way, because you probably won't sleep a lot. However, you will blow your own damn mind because like when there's a deadline, you figure it the F out. Like you figure it out. So we just did our first live mastermind last weekend. We are in the middle of a launch. So we just opened carts today, which is why I was like, don't ever do that. And next weekend or Sunday, my fiance and I are flying out to James Wedmore's Business by Design, and I'm going to be speaking. So it's like, we've got 3 very important, ginormous projects, things that need focus and attention, and they're all happening within the same 2.5 weeks. And I will tell you, this is probably the most effective I've ever been with my time, the most efficient I've ever been. Like, ain't nobody got time for Netflix when,
oh, heck no.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no space for any of that. Like, there's no space for scrolling. every minute had to be planned. Everything had to be super intentional. And as challenging as it was for some of the last couple of weeks, it really has shown me how much time I really was wasting, how much time I was kind of falling into the illusion of being productive when I was actually just keeping myself busy. And
Parkinson's law.
yeah,
It's really good. I teach that to my students because it's so true. That's why there's the people that want it bad enough that they have everything going against them. You know, they've got the full-time job, the husband that doesn't support, 55 kids, all the things, right? And they're still making it happen because they make it happen. And part of it is being gritty. Part of it is just figuring out the time. We always use time and money as the biggest excuses. Like, I know that there were times that I could have done things faster and I would be further ahead if I invested in myself earlier. And nothing changed from the time that I decided to do it other than I decided to do it. There was no magic money tree that showed up and like poured down money. It wasn't any of that. It was when I decided. And the craziest thing for me is that when I was like a totally broke working artist, making it happen, like buying a new house and putting myself into a better environment, like having a studio. This studio has served so many different purposes, just like I have evolved. This is where I stopped like having to go on set and I had clients come to me, like all the Orange County housewives. I would do their makeup here. I would style people here instead of schlepping all my crap for an entire day to everybody else and physically coming home sweaty and exhausted and tired. That I was able to do that when I changed my environment, when I changed who I surrounded myself with, then everything changed for me. And I think like, I know the value of what I do. The reason why I don't do DIY courses, the reason why Jen has coaching in her programs is that when you surround yourself with those people who are like-minded, at first you're gonna be like, we're all doing the same thing, but we're like, we're not. And we need those people. Like, how amazing was that feeling? Even though the timing couldn't have been worse, but you did it anyways. Your first mastermind, like, did that not make up for every single failure, doubt, wondering if I should even do this, who will come, all the things that we think about?
Oh my gosh, like times 1,000. Like, it was just literally, I mean, it was probably the best, one of the best weekends, if not the best weekend just ever. Like, I'm still kind of, I think all of us are still kind of in that place of like, did that really happen? Was that real? And actually I made a post about it being like, this was just such a magical weekend. And I posted it with a picture and Facebook blocked it. And it said it was in violation, like just on my personal page. So like, that was weird. All right, let me do it again and again. And it keeps telling me that I am trying to sell something that's not real, even though I'm not selling something, but I was just talking about how it was such an amazing weekend.
Yeah.
So even Facebook is like, can't be possibly be that good. Yes, it can, Facebook. I see you, Facebook.
Go on your business page and share it from there.
I did blocked it there too.
Yeah.
So I was like, we're changing the copy, we're changing the picture. Maybe there.
So
and
weird.
It's in review.
Okay. That is so weird.
But you're right. It made it all completely worth it 10 times. Every single person that was there was like, when's the next one? Please take my credit card. I don't care. Like, I just want to like make money so that I can give it back to you. And I was just like, wait, this is such a hilarious, wonderful, strange feeling. Like, this is like, I'm being my own hashtag goals. And it's like a nice place to finally get to where, you know, for all of us, we have those moments where we hit those milestones. And I think when we can really step into receiving that abundance, receiving that gratitude and appreciating what we've done, I know that's why I haven't had, or in the past didn't have bigger successes, because it was always on to the next. I wasn't sitting in it and really receiving it. And I'll tell you, when you're at a live event with your people, with your core group of people, you have no choice but to receive it. You have no choice but to just enjoy every single moment of it together and be able to share in that gratitude together. And that's like, that was really why I wanted to create the mastermind tier, because just being with you guys over the last, year and a half, almost 2 years at the mastermind with James, it's just been such a profound experience. And I was like, I know that my business would not be where it is. I would not believe the things that I believe about business. My business would not financially be on track for what it's on track for. I wouldn't have the even team stuff in place in the way that we have and moving towards. Like, none of this would be, I would be on a different railroad track, like not even a different state, but in a different continent, like wouldn't even be in the same place. And it's kind of crazy to think about the decisions that we make as business owners and times that we've stepped into being that next level version of us, and then times where we've made the decision to play small. Now, I'm not saying, for some people, if they decide not to invest in a course or a coach or a program or a team member, that they're playing small. No, in your gut when it's aligned, right decision for you, and when it really isn't the right time. I don't say yes to every single thing or every single opportunity. So I never want to throw that at people. That said, when you're like, because I've made those, I will call them mistakes. Like I've made those mistakes, which became learning lessons, where instead of leaning into the possibility, leading into like what I knew was potential, leading into the excitement, what felt aligned, I allowed someone to talk me out of it. I talked myself out of it, and I played small. It's like we all have those moments and we all get to make those choices. But, and I know in a lot of sales copy, people will be like, well, what will it cost you to not have the support and guidance in the next 6 months? Or what's possible if you do XYZ? And I think a lot of people I don't think they necessarily realize how much one decision can actually change the freaking trajectory of your life.
Mm-hmm.
It really can.
Yeah.
Like for you guys, like I'm sure you can look back now and see certain decisions that you made or certain things as like pivotal moments. I mean, even for you, Zach, stepping into the agency side of things, it was a hard decision. It was an uncomfortable decision, but because you made that decision, now you're in a totally different place and mindset in your business. And it's like, oh, this is what's possible now.
Yeah. Well, and I think that what both of you are saying comes together so harmoniously, because it's like these decisions don't require a lot of time.
Yeah.
So like one thing that I've loved about the last couple of years of my business, with the exception of right now, because I am in a little bit more of a hustle season, because we have Amy Porterfield's event next week and James Wedmore's event the week after. And then 2 weeks later, we're here for Inner Circle. And so I'm like literally off like 15 days for the next.
Yeah, we are. Flying back to New York, home for 3 days, back on a plane. I'm like, I should have just stayed.
It's crazy.
Oh, wow. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. But I'm in this space where it's like, I have to make quick and rapid decisions. And it's like, I don't want to work 80 hours a week just because I have these events coming up. So like right now I'm probably working 30 to 40 hours a week. I try to block off 1 to 2 days a week where I like do my check-in call with my team in the morning, and then I'm off for the day. I may do some back-end work, like the stuff that moves the business forward. Cool thing about the agency is when I'm on the phone, I'm usually doing the stuff that moves the business forward, because it's either a sales call or a client call or a retention call. So that's really cool. But it's like, it's little decisions that don't have to take a ton of time, because I'm sure you see this, Jen, with people who do coaching, and it's like, they're like, I've been working on my application for a month. We literally put 15 minutes into the application I have on my website. It could be so much better. It could be so much more robust. It's landed me multiple 5 figures in revenue, and it took 15 minutes to put up on my website, to be like, yo, here's the thing. And we like, sometimes I do the same thing, but like we needed to rebrand our website. And I was like, financially, because we're starting a new venture, like I'm somebody who's financially conscious. I'm like, we're at a point where we have the brand that needs to be backed by like a high level designer. We can't just like cobble it together. But because we're starting a new venture, we don't have the time or the resources in this new venture to hire a high level designer. So I Googled Squarespace templates. How long does it take to set it up? And I literally sat there for 12 hours and redid a whole website. And I'm not saying that that's the right decision, but what I am saying is, how many people will spend 3 months tweaking their website so that it's perfect? When I don't know my ideal message yet, I don't know my ideal client, I didn't even have a logo yet, I don't even know what fonts I'm using. I randomly picked the color yellow because I was like, it's not purple, so it looks different than purple. So that'll be a new color. That'll be the brand color until I rebrand. And like, I just put it together. And it's like, there's that beautiful combination of making the right decision and realizing that Parkinson's law can work in your favor. Of like, if I only had 2 days to get the website together, because I was like, I'm going on a podcast in 3 days where someone's going to ask me what I do, and it's no longer going to be courses. And if someone comes to my website and it doesn't say, click here to apply now, I'm throwing money away. So in 3 days, we got a new website up. And I literally remember being at dinner. This is just a funny little side note. We were moving to San Diego. We were at our going away dinner, and I was like, oh my gosh, my website's unedited and live. And I was like, but you know what? I'm not giving up dinner. I'm not giving up the going away dinner with my with my partner's family because my website's not perfect. And it's like, how much in this same vein do we sacrifice because we're like, well, it takes this much time or it needs this much planning? How much are we sacrificing the important things in life for the stuff that actually doesn't make that much of a consequential difference? Because I probably had 50 people visit my website while it was down or in transition. And like, no one has called me about it. No one has messaged me about it. No one has said anything about it. But
that other person, you finally blocked them, right? That person from
I finally
earlier.
blocked them, right? So they don't talk to me anymore. But it's like it doesn't, there's these decisions you can make, but they don't require all the time. And when you tell yourself you don't have the time, like for me, I'm not working 40 hours a week. Like that's just a non-negotiable for me. And it sounds silly to some people, but like, I don't want to work 40 hours a week. That's not why I got into this. And if that means that I can be $1 million business, great. And if it means I can't, great, because it only means what I assign to it. And like, that is a big hurdle that I have recently overcome where I was like, oh, I don't want to be $1 million business because that means X, Y, and Z. And now I'm like, well, I do want to be $1 million business, but I'm not working 40 hours a week. And if it takes 2 years, 4 years, 10 years, like that's not a big deal because lucky for me, I have no kids. I don't travel a ton when I do travel when I want to. And so money is a very thick spreading resource for me when it comes in. So, you know, I don't have to kill myself to make $1 million tomorrow. And I think the same can be said of most people listening is like, we've convinced ourselves that by this date at this time, we need this. And like, I'm a huge believer in manifestation and those things, but how many of us have like written the check, put the date on it, and then like, well, it didn't happen, so I'm a failure, instead of saying, I wrote the check, I did way more work than I ever would have. And yes, I can't cash that, check. I actually had one of the first online programs I took, they were like, write yourself a check with a date, right? And how many of us don't achieve that and then discount everything that we've achieved up to that point because it's not that exact number. And like, that has been a huge learning lesson for me. So like,
I've never written myself a check. Am I supposed to write myself a check?
100%.
Yeah.
You're not a real manifestor if you have.
What? Oh my gosh, I'm behind on the manifest. I've never written myself a check.
You've never written yourself a check that you like, a blank check for a future date?
I have my old, this is my old, I always have this one because it's like the first vision board.
Oh, okay. Well,
I was so not woo-woo, but like nearly everything on here has happened.
Wow.
Well, I don't have a vision board, so we're even.
Okay. I was like, I've never written myself a check. Maybe I should. I mean, it's worked for me so far without it.
What? Yeah.
I framed it in my house and hung
Jen,
it up.
have you written yourself a check?
Day.
I haven't done it recently, but I also like, not like checks, but even when I first started, I have the piece of paper still from April 1st, 2014, when I said, I'm going to make $100,000 this year by creating digital courses. And it didn't happen for 2.5 years, but I didn't hit year 1 and say, oh, that means it's never happening.
You guys are going to hate me. My year 1 was like, oh, I made $160,000. How did I do that? I know. Like it did come easily to me because I didn't set any expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I was just like, let's just experiment and do it. And I started off with not my own courses, and things are different when you create your own product. I mean, I was an affiliate marketer and everything was a surprise. I surprised everybody. I was like the total underdog. Nobody thought that I would do anything with affiliate marketing. I had no list, is why I was on Zach's podcast about it. No list. I didn't even know what a list was. I was like, what aisle at Target do you find these lists? I didn't even know what it was. And I just had a very small, teeny tiny, but yet very, very highly engaged social media following back then. And it was under 5,000 when I started on Instagram. I didn't even have a Facebook page. I only had a personal page back then. And I probably had 2,000 friends back then. And I was able to like upsell other people's high ticket products because I was doing them. I invested in them first. And I was just sharing like what my experience was and how it would have been easier if I had a group of people to do it with, and beating people that are like the big names like Jeff Walker every single time.
Jeff Walker.
I know. I'm sure I know he probably didn't send his entire list, but still every time I beat him by usually 1 or 2 spots, and I didn't even know what I was doing. And people were like looking on the leaderboards of like, Brendan Bouchard and Kajabi and who's that? and it's crazy. So I went into this business, total accidental entrepreneur. And I was like, oh, well, I was making money selling lipstick as an affiliate marketer and jeans. And it's crazy because now people pay me, they sponsor me to wear their jeans. And I'm like, I'm not like 6 foot tall, size 0. It's crazy what happens if you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
But for me, I've never written a check. I started this completely as an accidental entrepreneur. I totally stumbled on it. And then I became super intentional with it. Because had I kept in that same mindset, I wouldn't have the business today that I had back then. Some of it was part of, I don't believe in luck, but it wasn't something that was repeatable, scalable back then. Right. I had to then intentionally do it. But it wasn't hard, and it doesn't have to be hard. But I learned, I made it it's my job to learn those things. You can learn anything. You have to learn all the things. And it's so much easier now versus I remember connecting my email list the first time. It was so hard 5 years ago. It is so easy now. Like, it's no big thing. Like, to connect your email and then actually like deliver a PDF, like that was a big deal.
That was so hard. And there was no there were no blogs, no trainings, no explanations. You just had to like hope and pray that you could maybe stumble upon the
answer. So easy now. So easy. And it's just learning new things. You have to have the mindset that you're always going to learn new things.
Yeah. Well, and that's funny. It's like what we were saying earlier is like, there is no system. Like what you did before is duplicatable and scalable for a period of time. And then it stops being duplicatable and scalable. Like I can't go on Periscope right now and just drum up 20,000 followers. Super easy to do back in the day.
I got 1 million hearts on Periscope right away. I thought I was like, I bragged
6,
about it.
So it's not a competition, but I would win. But anyway.
I think I got that was like right away, I got 1 million, and it's still on my Instagram. I got to 1 million hearts, you guys. And then it was like 2 days later, I'm at 5 million hearts. It was the dumbest thing.
But it's not scalable anymore. And that's what it comes back to, is what we were saying is like, you can learn the blueprints, you can learn the systems, but if you don't learn how to build your specific business and you don't learn I would even go to far as to say like frameworks and systems and processes that you can adapt and change to work with what works for you, then you can't build a business, because you can't do what I did. Like, you can't go start on Periscope right now, do it for 2 years, and then launch your course around challenges, which there's like 1 million people doing now, and then be like, I'm going to start an agency. If you do what I do exactly in my footsteps right now for the 5 years, like, you will fail, guaranteed. But you can take what I've done and learn from it and implement your own systems, and take my knowledge and take what we're talking about today and apply it to your own business the exact same way that Tiffany's like, well, I don't use profit first, and I do. And yet Tiffany isn't homeless and I'm home full, right? It's like, that's not happening. There's just so many different ways to do it. And you've got to realize that if you think you're going to tap into somebody's expertise, copy them versus emulate or learn from them, then you're never going to get results.
And I know James talks about this too. Like, if people are, he's like, I don't care if people are copying me, because if they're copying me, they're already like 1,000 steps behind. So they can't possibly get the same result. And I do think that that's a big kind of issue. It's something that I've even struggled with was, putting out course content. And that's why I really pivoted away from teaching more of the trending things that people wanted. Like, oh, they want to know the Instagram story thing. And I was like, no, I'm leaning heavily into really teaching them the foundational pieces that have been around since the beginning of time, that work, like all of the psychology behind sales and persuasion and business. Like, that's the stuff that doesn't age.
Right.
It's the stuff that's there forever.
How we position that, because that's what I do as well. It's like, I teach the foundations. I've got my cute little sayings. I was like, you have to learn the foundations before you get fancy, because everybody wants the sexy, fancy, and the like, what's happening, what's working right now stuff. But that's not what builds a business. That's what makes you a trendy Instagrammer that's going to have to get a full-time job soon because you didn't build a business. But at the same time, it's very challenging to market what actually creates the business, because most people don't want that. And that's like something that, James was talking me through during the middle of my launch when it was really slow. And what not enough people talk about is that, people need deadlines. There's no reason to have a long cart open Because for me, my last 4 launches now, more than 50%, in between 50 and 57% of our sales came on the last day. Of the sales that came on the last day, more than on this one was like 67% of the sales came on the second half of the last day. So if that is not God in the universe teaching you ultimate patience, belief in what it is that you do, and to not freaking give up until the stroke of midnight, and even then there's still options, then it really defines how gritty and how much you want it. Because that's how it happens for most people, is like, it doesn't happen on the first day. The second day, nearly nothing happens. The third day, almost nothing happened. And then fourth day, card closed. People make their decisions on the last day.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And
that's what makes your program so great, Jen, is like, it is the foundations. And it's like, like what I think people get so like, I love when people are like, oh, the magic is in your list. And I'm like, well, that's just lead generation. And people have been doing that since the beginning of time. List is just the fancy name we've given to lead generation, because if you're not generating leads, you don't have people to sell to.
Right.
And in like old school times, it wasn't called list building. It was called like canvassing or door-to-door sales. Like it's always been around. And that's what makes your program so great, Jen, is it's like, let's step away from, oh, is it Instagram? Oh, is it Facebook? Oh, is it this thing? And I know that you do teach in and bring experts for that kind of stuff, but you're teaching people the fundamentals of sales, persuasion, copy, of the things that actually matter to business. Because the reason that I would argue that Tiffany and Jen and I have all done multiple business models with success in multiple business models, because what people don't realize is even in network marketing, most, like the mass majority of people don't even sell something. So by simply selling something in network marketing, you are the upper echelon. Like I'm just like, that's just kind of is what it is. Maybe someone could correct me, but I'm pretty confident about that statement. It's like just selling stuff puts you in the upper level. And the reason that we've been able to do it, Tiffany, with makeup artistry and hope that's the right terminology, and affiliate marketing and live video, and why I've been able to do it with live video and Facebook and challenges, is that we're learning the fundamentals of what actually converts people into buyers. And that stuff works whether you run an agency, whether you sell courses, whether you do affiliate marketing,
whether you do webinars or challenges or video series, it does not matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
But what matters is the messaging, the offer, how you position it.
And all of that stuff is transferable to no matter what business you do, what niche you're in. I would argue just about any business model. I don't care if you're a real estate agent or a lawyer. I don't care what you do. You've got to know how to have some of these, like, I mean, there's sales psychology skills, their messaging skills. I was even talking to one of the ladies who is at my mastermind this weekend, and she has a podcast agency. And, you know, we were talking about some of these things. And I said, listen, for you, you might not be doing these big launches and you might not be putting the copy in these ways, but all of the things that underlie these pieces of the conversation, this is how you approach, or we were also talking about how to be a great coach. And it was like, well, this is how you approach a conversation with your team member. This is how you approach a conversation with your client. It's literally communication, psychology, understanding why we do what we do, what motivates people, like what's going to make them show up and get results, what's going to make them literally everything.
And that's why we hang out together, because we want to know what's working for you in those aspects. It's never about what's that specific Instagram strategy that's working. We never have those conversations. It's more like the fundamentals. What's changing in your business? What have you, shifted your gears towards? How are you reaching a bigger audience? It's those questions. It's TLC. It's always going to be about traffic, leads, and conversions. How we do it, that's going to change a little bit. How I went from doing challenges really successfully for 2.5 years to, okay, my audience knows I'm really predictable now and I need to switch it up. Let's try something different. But the fundamentals of how I'm able to pitch, whether it's a challenge or a video series or a recorded series, or a lot of us are kind of doing a combination. I put challenge elements into my video series. Why not? Because I can, and it works for me and I like it. And so, like, to be able to think about what your audience needs, why do we do that? Why do we do anything that we do in our business? Like, why do some people have free Facebook groups and they drive me crazy? And I never needed one to start a business. But maybe if I was starting from scratch today with day one and zero audience, I might do a Facebook group, but I'm going to know exactly why. I'm going to know exactly what I'm going to offer on a page and the difference of what they're going to get in a group. And most people don't even think that far. They're like, I heard you should do a group. Let's do a group. And then it becomes a giant time suck where everybody's spamming everybody because you didn't create the boundaries, the expectations. And then you're like, this is work. And it's not a funnel for you. It just becomes a time suck. And so having the intentionality behind everything that we do, allocating the time and the effort because we know why we're doing it. That's so important. And Jen really hones in on how to get those conversions because we're salespeople, we're business people. And when you wholeheartedly believe in what you do, you will sell it because you know it changes lives. You know that the sale is service. You should have seen me in my garage sale on Saturday. I did the most bougie garage sale you guys have ever seen. They don't let us do them where I live. I live in a gated community and we can only do them like once a year. And last year we couldn't do it. So I like hoarded all the stuff that I've been cleaning out of my house. And I put outfits together for people. I mean, like you came to my garage sale and you didn't go away with 3 things. We went out with complete outfits. Like it was a thing. Next year, I'm thinking about, I'm going to have a runway in my driveway and we're going to like do it big because listen, if you're good at what you do, you believe in what you do, you're going to level up. You're going to be of service. The more service I showed up for the people that came to my garage sale, the bigger my sales were. And I did a whole Instagram story thing about it, like tying it to marketing because so many people are so scared to sell. And it's because you're not showing up believing in what you do. I will sell all day, every day, whatever it is that I believe in. Whether I'm telling you, I'm selling you on that favorite place to get the best skinny spicy margarita, or like Jen and Dak, we got to go get tacos at my favorite little hole in the wall in Laguna Beach. And this is the best place to go to yoga. First we do the yoga and then we go get the tacos. That's my idea of balance in life. But like I sell that because I believe in it. I'm passionate about it. You're selling all day. You're a parent. You're selling to get your kid into the better teacher's class because that other teacher may not be the best. You know, like you're always selling yourself, positioning yourself to get what you want. And that's what we do in sales with our products, but we're showing up so timid. And if you're showing up timid and you don't believe, you're not going after and speaking how to take those things, you know, how to take opportunity to get the conversions, to understand the psychology of sales and pricing, everything that Jen teaches. This is why she's an expert and she comes in and teaches in my groups because like the two of us together, we're like, oh my gosh, unapologetically sell all the time. You are doing a disservice if you're not selling. And if you're showing up timid, why am I going to pull out my credit card for someone that doesn't even believe in their own thing? Like that to me is crazy. No wonder you're not getting sales. You can have the best product, service, whatever it is that you offer. But if you show up timid, you're holding back sales. You have to believe in yourself. And this is where a lot of it is practice, is a lot of it showing up, is, you know, getting people in. This is where you earn hundreds of people joining your thing. When you show up to serve and only 4 people buy and you get those results for those 4 people, not only do you have proof in your product, you have testimonials. You don't just have to say you're awesome. They will say you're awesome for you. And then every time you don't give up and you do the next launch and you do the next launch, that 4 becomes 12 and 12 becomes 50. And that's exactly how I started. I started off with 3. But I treasured those 3. I earned the 3. And I wholeheartedly believe the people that have the mindset that's like, I give up on live video because I had nobody watch. I give up on live video because I did 5 and only 15 people watch. I'm like, you don't deserve hundreds of people to watch you. You don't.
This is so funny. Total side note, but we've got people watching us on live right now. We're live streaming this.
Hey, I totally forget that we're I love live.
It. But this is just such a funny thing that I would love to just like talk about really quick. Marley asked, are you guys affiliates at all? No, they're not. They're not. And that's just amazing.
Why am I not?
You probably,
first we need to stop launching at the same freaking time.
Yes.
That would be good.
But what's funny is like, you know, Zach recently, he did a live Facebook workshop. I wasn't an affiliate. I was sharing that out with my paid group because they kept asking about Facebook ads. I said, guys, you heard Zach. So Zach and Tiffany, if you guys missed the beginning, they are bonus guest master classes. They're going to be coming into Programs That Profit and having amazing conversations. They've done it before. They are the most incredible, like, over deliver types of people. And
I'm going to coach.
Like, yes,
in your group. I'm
You're
coming
gonna
in.
I can't
we're coach
wait.
together.
It's coming in hot. And so, you know, I'm like always like, yes, go work with Zach. Go do his program. Like, I did Zach's ads program 4 years ago, and
So did I.
that was like, he
That was like
simplified it.
First one that I ever did.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my gosh, ads are actually not complicated. And I've been doing them wrong and throwing money down the Facebook drain. And so I've just been a huge fan of Zach even before we were in a mastermind together. And with Tiffany, like, I followed Tiffany way back in the day. Totally, like, she did not know who I was. We would be at the same events and
Didn't even say hi.
because I was like, who am I to go and talk to thee?
And then you got to meet me and she's like, not that fancy.
Oh, yes, you are. You are just so amazing. But it's just so funny because, like, Tiffany just finished up her launch for her program, Lights, Camera, Branding.
On Thursday. Thank you, Jesus.
Thursday,
it's over.
yes. And on Monday, Zach and I actually both were on a live video for her because we're bonus guests in her program.
Yes.
Like, you know, like, we all, and it's not, we're not getting compensated for it. Like, we just literally do that for each other because we just love each other and want to add value to each other's courses and programs and audiences. And like, it's a give and take. And honestly, like, I think a big part of that is being in a mastermind, which really is like just having a high level community, which is like really ties back into my entire whole premise of like what I was talking about with this launch. It's like everybody's doing digital courses, trying to scale it, doing that. And a lot of people are doing like the grunt work of one-on-one coaching, filling up their weeks and their calendars. Like, I thought I wanted freedom. Now I have no time for my life. And I'm like, the secret sauce is really in having a group coaching program. Like, that is where you are able to have the right content, the step-by-step frameworks. You are able to have the right community, which is essential in your success. It is essential. You have that community, the collaboration, the accountability, and you get the coaching. Because there are going to be times where you have hiccups in your business, and being able to either be around high level people like this where we can kind of all coach each other. Like, if you're in a mastermind, like, you can coach each other because you guys have a skill set, right? And you have some knowledge. You are, you know, people who know what they're doing. But when you are getting started, like, being in a group coaching program is so powerful to walk through the trenches with other people and with a coach or mentor or facilitators who can take you through the process without wasting more freaking time, because you can waste the next year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years throwing spaghetti or metaphorical spaghetti at the wall and having absolutely nothing stick. So you can choose to DIY it. And I get fired up about this because I'm speaking to the old version of myself, the old version of me that took pride in DIYing things. And I had this badge of honor, this cape on my back that I did everything myself and I could take on the world.
You got your PhD from Google University, like I did too.
And YouTube University. And I was like so proud of myself that I sat at the computer for 14-hour days trying to hack and find and go through all the free stuff. Like, I have a post that people crack up about, but I'm like, I went through and it was like, download 120,585 freemiums, open none of them, like, have your inbox just be this overwhelming hot mess of a freemium graveyard of everybody selling shit to you, which just overwhelms you more because then you're like, I should have been doing that, I'm behind, right? Like, we can go through that phase of our business where we feel alone, where we feel isolated, where we don't have the steps, where it just seems like a really noisy, chaotic process to grow a business. Or you can get your butt in a program with a mentor that you trust, that's done what you've done, that has gotten people results, who's got a community that you resonate with, who has a process that is proven and simplified, and has the skill set as a coach, which really is like one of the things I'm passionate about, because there's a lot of people out there who are educators, who are teachers, who are really good at breaking things down step by step. But that's like the consultant side. Being a consultant is different than being a coach. And I get to put on both hats, and I have training and experience in both areas, but not everybody does. And I truly believe that's what's going to set people apart moving forward in the online space. Like, our mentor, James Wedmore, jokes around like, people are coerced to the F out. And they are. Like, I asked the other day on social media, if you guys were going to hire a mentor of your choice, would you be more likely to work with them in a group coaching situation? I said, all things considered, collaboration, community, investments, all the things. What would you most want to invest in? A one-on-one, a course, or group coaching? And more than half the people said group coaching.
Yeah. I've never had one-on-one coaches ever. And I really don't want one. For me, the reason why that I'm in this mastermind that we're in, and I'm in the 3rd year this year, is not for James. It's not. We hardly ever talk to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy. The higher level you are in your offers, the less people actually need you. It's who you're vetting to bring together.
Yeah.
And that's, for me, I know we all have different reasons for being in a mastermind, and his mastermind's $30,000 now. It's not for him. We have access to him, but most of us don't even take advantage of it. It's the craziest thing, because you guys would be like, oh, you're in James's mastermind, but it's really James that's the facilitator that brings all of us together. Like, we
and creates a safe space.
And creates a safe space. And we have these, before it was 4 retreats. Now we're only doing 3 retreats. And for me, it's the retreats, the connections. I wouldn't be able to offer what I offer because of the way that I created my offers. It is so bonus heavy with the experts, because I don't believe any one coach can be your only coach. I've been very fortunate that a lot of people have mentored me and have coached me, and they all collectively have helped me to grow as I have, but there's never been one coach that is the end all be all. Like, nobody is. You're not going to do one course to learn everything in a business. There's lots of facets. There's the financials, there's the ads, there's the copy, there's the psychology. There's just like, how do I put the course together? Like, all the fundamentals. And so, I've been able to bring all these people together because of the resources that I have. And for any of you guys who might be like, this sounds great, but I'm not ready. I hear that so often. You are ready when you decide you are ready. You are ready today. Your goal, and I know it sounds so weird, but this is what I did. This is the one thing that I did right in the beginning. My goal was to put myself into the rooms and create a space for myself, knock down the doors if I need to, and be the dumbest person in the room. And Zach would be like, yes, when you started, you were the most inexperienced, dumbest person in the room. And that's how I up-leveled faster. I was. Our first retreat, Zach was there. It was the year before Jen joined. At the end of it, I don't even think it was the end of it, probably the end of day 1, I went up to James and said, you made a massive mistake. I don't belong here. And everyone could viscerally feel how uncomfortable I was. Like, I wanted to go home. I was that uncomfortable. I was like, once I get there, it'll be fine. No, it got worse. And I was like, I am so out of my league. I was, but nothing made me get out of my comfort zone. I was the most unqualified person in that room. I don't know how I got in, but I up-leveled that year, like tripled everything, not just revenue, but tripled everything. Like what I was putting out, my confidence level, my just knowledge level, everything that I did tripled easily, but it was uncomfortable. It was like wearing an itchy wool sweater and it's 120 degrees with 100% humidity. It was that awful. I'm like, get me out of here. I'm not, James, you made a mistake. And I almost left. He didn't talk me into staying. He's like, when you decide that you're supposed to be here, you'll act like you're supposed to be here. And so I started acting like it. And I think that whole year until the last retreat, the 4th retreat, I was the most awkward, weird person in that room. But it got me there.
Yeah. But I felt the same way with it the first year.
Yeah, everyone does. It's so weird.
And it's funny because I just had the mastermind this weekend with my group, and we were just kind of very candidly talking about that at the end. And I said, I was like, I remember that first day I walked in late, and the 2 biggest A players in the room sitting at the back table, and it was the only seat left. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me right now? Like, I was like, please, please, please let there be another open chair. Like, I do not want to sit at this table. I don't belong at that table. And then I sat there all weekend, like having the most ridiculous amount of imposter syndrome, wondering how I fooled whoever I fooled to get into that room. And I was like, this idea of like, I'm going to get found out. And so I played so small the first year. I was so quiet because I was so terrified that somebody was going to find out that I didn't belong in the room. And because of that, I actually manifested more of that. And then I didn't have the growth that I wanted. And so I was like, okay, Jen, let's take that again. Take two, round two. And I'm just being open with you guys, because that's something that I think has been huge for me. And I think in being around higher level people, I don't know if that feeling really goes away, like new level, new devil. But you just learn to enjoy it and start to notice that when that feeling comes in, it's a sign that you're growing. Yeah. It's a sign that you are in the right room.
Or like when you're speaking on stage and you get asked to, you know, like no, I don't get asked. I ask. I got on the Kajabi stage because I asked. I'm doing my first workshop next year and I didn't want to go find a place. So I asked Kajabi, and I'm doing it at their headquarters because I asked. Which is crazy that this girl that was so intimidated not that long ago is now asking for like the big ask. But I've earned it. I've created these relationships. I've been showing up for them for years. It's not like I'm out of the blue asking for big favors or picking people's brain. I've earned the right to do it. And I think in the same way that we need to show up for our audiences and earn the right to get the sale. Like, you don't just show up one day and go, I don't know who you are. You just met me and here's my $1,500 offer. Like, we don't do that. It doesn't work that way. So how long do they have to sign up with you? Because you guys want in on this coach, like this, we're just chatting, but I mean, like really coaching to see where you guys are at, dissecting your business, it's not the big things, you guys, it's the small tweaks that make the biggest differences. Usually you already know what it is. You know what it is. It's so close to you. It's at the tip of your nose that you can't see it. We're too close to what we do that we cannot see our own genius.
And isn't it the funny thing? Because we did coaching hot seats this weekend, and all of the women in the room were very powerful coaches. And they were all kind of like, wow, that was fascinating. One person after another, after another, after another. We were really just able to peel back the layers. And they all knew the answers on some level inside of them. They had already kind of made the decision, but they just needed the clarity and the direction and the nudge. And it's just like, coaching is so freaking powerful. And you guys, we are only open for enrollment for a couple of days. That's just the way it goes. We close on we close on Friday afternoon. And we've got two amazing bonus people right here who are going to be hopping in this community and sharing some incredible content with you guys and doing some awesome coaching with you guys, which is just like, I'm just so incredibly grateful that not just that you do for me, but that we're able to do that for each other, because I think that our audiences see that, and that opens up a whole new level of like, oh, cool. Like, I want that. Cause when I saw you guys in that one, I'm like, I want to be part of that. I want to be part of that group. I want to be part of that community. That's a cool group of people. And I think we're all just creating that next iteration, that next version of it for our tribe. And I think it's so powerful. And, you know, I invite every single one of you who've been, you know, part of the 3-part training series, Profitable Programs, who know in your gut that you are ready to take that step forward. It doesn't matter if you have a business and you've kind of been struggling to figure out how to make money, how to launch, how to create that program. It doesn't matter if you literally have no business, you just have that fire in your gut. You know, you want to be a coach, you know, you want to put something out there, and you are very clear that you don't have clarity. You know, you don't have the path laid out yet. It doesn't matter. I don't care where on the spectrum you are. Trust me, this is going to be the fit for you. If you watch the series, if you resonated with me, if you resonated with what I've shared, you guys are going to hear this week from some of the other women who are graduates of the program, who were actually at the event this past weekend. You guys may have seen them on my stories. They did an Instagram takeover. But really, I just love the community that I feel so grateful to be a part of, and be kind of just collecting amazing people along the way, people who serve from a place of total abundance, total transparency. And I'm rambling, but I'm just so grateful for you guys for being part of this. The master classes are going to kick some serious butt. You guys are going to get to connect with them more if you're inside Programs That Profit. And yeah, I just want to thank you guys so much. We went so long, and I'm like, oh my God, thank you guys for spending so much time and just having this really awesome.
For you, Jen, of course. I mean, I got out of my pajamas and took a shower.
But this was awesome. This was a powerful, candid conversation. These are my favorite conversations, where it's not like step 1, step 2, step 3. It's just like, this is what it's really like. This is what other entrepreneurs who are, or coaches or course creators or experts who are trying to find their way, these are the types of things that they need to hear, that we all need to hear, to know that we're not alone, to know that we're not crazy, to know that everything that's happening for us,
crazy.
A little crazy. You gotta be a little weird, a little crazy. But just to know that like everything is a rite of passage that you're going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last thing that you need is another course. Like what Jen does in the group coaching, the access that you get to her, I don't offer that. But I'm like, that's amazing. Like what Jen offers is amazing. So don't wait. And there is no ready. Like there's a reason why you guys are watching this video right now. Whether you're watching, I mean, if you're watching to the end of the replay, God bless ya. I mean, you're doing this for a reason. Like it's resonating with you. You're supposed to hear this. Nothing's by accident. Nothing is a coincidence. You're supposed to hear this. So I want to ask you guys, like, where has your business been? What direction? The revenue, the team building, the audience building, the lives that you are changing. Have you launched your program or are you still thinking about it? Again, that whole Parkinson's law thing. Imagine where you're going to be at the end of this year. You don't have to wait until January 1st, 2020. Like that's a whole new decade. We've got like 75 days left of this decade, of this year. There is nothing special about January 1st. In fact, I'm such a rebel. I refuse to do resolutions or goals or intentions on January 1st. I like to make them like on January 3rd because there's nothing special. You can declare any day to be your January 1st. And it could start now. You have practically an entire quarter of this year to completely change the trajectory of your life. Don't waste this time. You don't have tomorrow promised to you. There's a reason why you participated in Jen. I always talk about like the magic of ads. I literally said to the people that were in my launch, you know, I was targeting you, right? On purpose. I actively spent money to find you. Jen and Zach did the same. There's a reason why. And I'm like, there's power in that. There's billions of people on Facebook. But for some reason, you stumbled upon Jen's ads. That's not a coincidence. You're supposed to do that. You spent time with Jen over 3 days to learn all the stuff. And then you spent time with her on this call. So really think about that. You are ready now. Don't wait until there is no ready because you're going to find yourself 3 months, another quarter is going to be wasted, another 6 months. And imagine that feeling that you will get by helping that one person, which then turns into 4, which then turns into an actual full-time business. But it doesn't happen until you start, until you declare you're ready today.
A freaking man. I just love you guys. You just bring the fire.
That's right.
So thank you guys for being here. Where can I know they're gonna want to stalk your lives.
Well,
so
I'm gonna be in your group.
You're gonna be in my
That's
group.
where they're gonna find me.
That's where you guys are gonna find. Yeah. And you can also go and just tell them how much this, because we might have to put this on the podcast because we just did 2 hours of straight fire.
Was it really 2 hours? I'm supposed to go buy shoes at Jimmy Choo's. What's happening? Oh my gosh, I could talk to you guys all day. This is like you guys being a fly on the wall at our mastermind retreat. The only thing that's missing is Madar and Skinny Spicy Margarita. Which would have made this conversation even more interesting. We'll do that next. We'll do that inside the group.
Ooh, next week.
Oh yeah. One margarita, the brilliance comes out of me. Just one though, not two.
There's
two,
a scale.
I'll be dancing on the tables, incoherent. It is not cute. I'm a lightweight. One margarita though, like literally I've helped people like write the whole concept of their books at one of our masterminds. One margarita, half a sip, not too many sips, not even a full margarita.
You should affiliate for
Casamigos.
Yeah.
I'm like, George Clooney, you need to hire me. That's right.
Oh my God. I love it so much. Zach, Tiffany, thank you guys so much for being here. Guys, let us know in the comments your biggest your biggest breakthrough from this conversation. And if you guys have already joined Programs at Profit, also let me know. A couple of you guys are like, I just joined them in. So thank you.
Shout it out.
So
share
much.
it on Instagram.
Shout it out. Tag me.
Tag us.
Tag all of us. Let us know.
I'm Coach Glitter. Zach is Heart Soul Hustle. Jen is, hey, Jen Casey. I said Jen Casey. It doesn't come up. I forgot it's the hey.
Got to get the hey in there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Thank you guys. And thank you all for being on and watching. This is so fun. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.